Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're going to talk about ML Ken and take him for a speed run in Guild War. By speed run, I mean it's going to be really slow since he's probably going to be ER based and it might not work. So the reason why we're doing this today is because he did get a buff recently. You can find it in my video yesterday. I'll link it in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed and everything there to see the after buff versions. And he's getting a 30% ER boost that a lot of people are really hanging on to, kind of saying that you have to build him ER now because of that, but it's really not true. Obviously, having a 30% ER base is a pretty good start for an ER build, but it's so hard, he's so stat hungry that I don't know if it's really possible, especially since up until this point, there's a very good chance you weren't really keeping pieces with all the stats you kind of need for ER. It just requires such specific gear, it's probably not what most people should do. That said, there are a lot of units right now who just kind of hit a little bit, you know? Like, T-Surin hits really hard, but you don't need to hit her back too much to really take advantage of it. And Landy, for example, does obviously make it so he can't counter. That's a big problem. There's also Carrot and everything too. Like, sure, you'll be immune to the burns, but should probably just kill you anyway. There's so many things. So my goal today is to build an ER-ish Ken with you and just see how it goes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start off with my ring. We know at least, like, there's two goals here. One is sitting at like 120 ER, which should be enough to resist everything except for active debuffers, and the other is going for like 200 plus, which should be enough to maybe block other things. Odds are we're not gonna have enough to really block the high-end people anyway, so we're probably going to try to sit at around 120 or so. And because of this, because he's not necessarily one-shotting things, because you're building for ER, you probably want a little bulk as well, right? I also thought about a lifesteal set. You could go lifesteal as well and then go Strax Gauntlet instead, but I don't have the gear for that. Lifesteal and ER is not something I've particularly been looking for. So right now what we're going for are just good amount of stats. We're basically wanting all of the stats, preferably a lot of defenses, a lot of crit damage, and a lot of attack. Okay, I was going to show you the building process, but it took me a long time, and I don't want to show that. It was way too long. This is what I ended up with. Honestly, like, it's so hard to get these stats up here because you need attack, defense, HP. You don't need speed, and I have a speed set, but it just like happens to be the gear that I needed. And then 129 ER, which is up to 159, which should be enough to fully resist everything but full debuffers. And then some crit damage and some crit chance here. There's a couple things we can change. Like, obviously, we could up that to 90. There's like, these aren't bad pieces. They're really well statted out for the most part. And I want his offense a little bit more. So we're actually going to go to SSBs here and boost up his HP, his attack, and crit rate and everything. But he does go down to 106 ER. So for testing purposes, I don't know. I don't know, team. This is not something I super am happy with the build. But we're going to try it out anyway. My tower's probably doing okay. Not bad, not bad. And let's find somebody we can ML Ken. Specifically, we are looking for maybe a... Look at all these people. All of them can't counterattack him. Or counterattack him and he can't counterattack back. I feel like one shot from the LQC here. Another one shot from the LQC. Okay, what about this? I want to make sure I don't need to take down a tower or something. So we have T-Surin here. Okay, let's go against this. So obviously we can't counter the Landy here, but the idea is just to win a longer battle. I also just realized I have a bunch of gear messed up right now for Abyss. I'm doing an Abyss video as we're recording this. So there's a couple people I can't use. I need to remember this. Don't ask, but it's gonna work, 100%.
You didn't see this coming.
Okay, so 4K to the Ken, and then the important part is not to die, because after the Ken does his, or after Landy does his stuff, Ken usually has to take both a FCC and a T-Cern, right?
How dare you!
So you need to not die to this, and I think if she greater attacks, how much HP do we have left? Yeah, so I think with greater attack we probably die, and you can see how little HP we just got back. But that's kind of what you have to deal with if you're building him at all for ER, right? The other thing is he would have been boosted up higher as well, because he does get CR boost. And this will hit, brings him to not in Sigurd's range, which is a little unfortunate, but this is a pretty good start here. And again, Landy is just going to keep going. Landy is so oppressive. Triple no crit, which is kind of hilarious.
It's time to find an answer.
And we should see a hit here, bring him down. See, he's got a decent amount of bulk right now, and he doesn't heal up anywhere near as much. So I actually think, like, the bulk and less damage is more harming to him than anything, right? Like, that's not working well. And now he's dead. So how do you build...
I'll show you some results.
How do you build ML Ken
Full frontal assault.
and Landy's skill 3? Why wouldn't her skill 3 be up again? How do you build ML Ken here?
Here I go.
How do you...
You'll regret this.
How do you build ML Ken here to survive anything is what I'm trying to get at. That was a horrible battle. Huh. So does anybody have any ideas? Like, obviously he performed better if he was in his buffed version. But like... Really? I don't think he's gonna do any damage. And this is actually, like, this isn't bad damage stats either. Like, we're still sitting there pretty good damage. Then again, we only really hit the T-Cern, right? So that's kind of interesting to consider as well. And you might say, Mango, you brought him against Landy. Of course he's gonna suck. But the thing is, who do you bring him against then? Everybody's using Landy. Everybody's using, like, can't be countered. Everybody's using T-Cerns and stuff. Like, what do you bring him against in that situation? Because if we look at, let's take a look at the guilds here to see if there's actually anything we could have brought him against. And like, against this team here, perhaps we could have brought him against this top team here. Maybe he would be used as like an RB counter in a sense, but at the same time, I think RB kills him with 1 greater attack with my stats right now, and I don't think my ML Ken counter kills either. Maybe I'll throw him into an arena battle and we'll see in a second here. And against the bottom team, it's the same team right there. I don't think there's much we can do. And against this team here, this top team probably. But the thing is, F10 is one of those units that is going to be able to debuff your Ken. So unless your Ken is like 240, 250 ER, he's still getting debuffed by this. And against this bottom team as well, same sort of idea. At least you can get counterattacks going on Ruel, but the Landy is just going to annihilate you, right? And odds are if you're counterattacking Ruel, they might have Idol's Cheer or something like that. And also, Cerise is another one of those units where she opens it up. Very likely she's going to land debuffs against you. And on top of that, she is going to give herself invincibility. So you're not going to go too well there, right? Let's check the other towers here. So this one as well, exact same thing here, right? Like these two are landing debuffs unless you're a bajillion ER. And if you're that high, you're not doing anything else. This team here probably would have been a pretty good idea. But what would happen here? Like obviously Crow can just one-shot him. And I guess these two as well. But I think this team would have been a good team to bring him against, but that's a very rare team, right? And there's still a chance greater attack buff into Luluka and you just die. That's another thing. Against this one here, exact same thing. We've got Landy just to annihilate him. I do think Kayron would probably kill him with like a Dust Devil after as well. Bottom team here, LQC, we just can't attack into that, right? One shot, you're dead, and we've also have the debuff here. What else as well? Tywin, SSB, and the Ravi. Probably the best choice here to attack into, I think. Because, yeah, the SSB is going to proc skill 2s and hit you so you can't counter, but you're not going to get debuffed by it, which is great. Same with the Ravi, you're not getting debuffed by the Ravi either. Yeah, this probably would have been another good thing to use him against. And the bottom team, same thing. You can't really attack Cerise, I don't think, and you can't really attack the LQC either. And remember with Cerise, with Restrict, his CR boost isn't doing anything, right? Which is one of his buffs. And against this one, oh, that's the same team there. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think trying to build him with ER in mind is just not gonna matter. And let me actually open up the effectiveness calculator as well to show you just to show you what the just to show you what 30% ER does, right? Like let's say we have 30% ER here. So if somebody has 0% effectiveness, we actually get a double 15% chance to resist, which is pretty good. If somebody has like 15%, it's like we have no ER, right? So that 30% isn't doing basically anything unless you try to capitalize on it, right? So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm not sure if I should upload this video, obviously, because I just got bodied, but I think it's a good experiment anyway. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.